Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, really deliver the essential, actionable knowledge that's defining the world of tomorrow. Today, we are undertaking a pretty critical deep dive into the AI ecosystem of 2025. AI isn't some far-off future concept anymore. It's basically the engine driving nearly every sector, every technology shift we see today. But here's the massive paradox we found woven through all our source material for this. While a staggering 77% of all devices used, in corporate servers, your phone, everything, have some form of AI baked into them, only about a third of consumers, maybe 33%, actually think they are regularly interacting with AI platforms. That suggests a huge disconnect, doesn't it? I mean, is this stealth integration intentional, or is it just a sign of how successfully AI has sort of vanished into the background?
That is the central question, absolutely. And, the year 2025 is really the perfect moment to analyze it. We've definitely moved way beyond science fiction into a reality where AI is just deeply embedded in our economy, our infrastructure. So our mission today is to synthesize this stack of cutting-edge stats and trends, really figure out where that invisible 77% is operating and how AI is fundamentally reshaping the global job market, plus what technological and regulatory trends are going to define its path over the next decade or so. It's a truly broad field moving incredibly fast. We're covering everything from boardroom strategy, investment priorities, that huge $15.7 trillion question, right down to the machine learning algorithms running your daily schedule. We'll be looking at business integration, consumer usage, those urgent trust and ethical concerns, and the future evolution toward things like agentic AI systems.
Okay, so let's follow the money first. Because, if you really want to know how committed the global economy is to AI, you just need to look at the corporate investment and strategy, right? Hashtag tag one. The monumental scale of AI adoption and economic impact.
Right.
We'll kick off with that overwhelming corporate commitment we saw in the sources. It seems 77% of companies are currently either using or actively exploring AI in their businesses. This isn't just like a side project anymore. It feels like a non-negotiable strategic imperative.
Exactly. And that imperative, it's really driven from the top, from the C-suite. An astounding 83% of companies report that integrating AI is a top priority in their business plans. This isn't just a tech trend nod. It reflects massive financial foresight globally. Look, 3 years out, the intent is incredibly strong. About 63% of organizations globally plan to fully implement AI within that time frame.
Wow, 63% in 3 years. That's fast.
It is.
And that strategic push, it translates directly into some explosive financial growth numbers, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The global AI market is projected to grow 33% year over year just in 2024.
33%.
Yeah, but then look at the total market size forecast. The overall growth is projected to exceed 120% year over year.
Whoa, 120%.
Yeah, it signals this phase of hyperacceleration. AI infrastructure, AI products are rapidly moving from, niche experiments to mass market deployment, hashtag type tag 3.1 to the economic forecast and job market shift. And the reason for this really aggressive investment, it's pretty clear. The expected returns are unprecedented. AI is projected to contribute a massive $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030.
15.7 trillion. Just let that sink in. How does that compare?
Well, to put it in perspective, that figure, it's roughly the current combined GDP of China and India.
Okay, that's staggering.
It really highlights AI's foundational role in future global wealth creation. And on a micro level, companies are anticipating these dramatic efficiency gains. AI is expected to improve overall employee productivity by a pretty considerable 40%.
Okay, that 40% efficiency boost, that naturally leads us into that famous or maybe infamous job paradox, doesn't it? But the sources give us a really nuanced view that kind of challenges the usual doom and gloom headlines. By 2025, AI is expected to eliminate 85 million jobs globally.
That's the displacement cost, right? The automation cost.
That's the figure, yeah. But here's the crucial counterbalance. AI is expected to create 97 million new jobs within that same time frame.
Right. Creating 97 million.
Yeah.
Resulting in a net gain of 12 million jobs globally. So yeah, if we're talking job losses, it's more about displacement transformation, not just outright elimination.
Exactly. The economy expands, but the type of work, it just fundamentally changes.
And this isn't just, guesswork. 52% of the experts studying this, they believe automation will both displace existing jobs and create entirely new ones. The jobs going away are often those transactional, rules-based roles. Think data entry, basic accounting, some middle management tasks focused purely on reporting. The jobs being created, they're the ones managing, maintaining, prompting the AI. Roles like prompt engineers, data ethicists, AI auditors, skilled data scientists. It kind of mirrors historical shifts, like moving from agricultural to industrial labor. The work changed, but the workforce adapted, and ultimately it grew.
And it's not just the information economy benefiting. If we look at which traditional sectors stand to gain the most financially,
Right.
the sources point directly to manufacturing, projected to see the biggest benefit, maybe $3.8 trillion by 2035.
That's huge for manufacturing. It suggests AI is really boosting efficiency in physical production supply chains, not just digital services.
Yeah, optimizing the physical world too. So let's circle back to that paradox. 77% usage, but only 33% awareness. This gap, it means AI is incredibly stealthy, doesn't it?
It really does. It's been embedded so successfully into the user experience that it just becomes invisible, often just seen as, good software.
Right. Just works.
Exactly. And if we dig into the demographics a bit, we can see who is more aware of AI's presence. Awareness is highest among Asians, around 40%, and men at 38%. But the correlation with education and income, that's particularly stark.
Right.
Really telling.
How so?
Well, we see this massive disparity. 53% of people with postgraduate degrees are aware they're using AI, compared to only 14% of those with a high school diploma or less.
Wow, 53% versus 14%. That is a shocking difference. More than half versus barely 1 in 10.
It points to an access problem, doesn't it? Not necessarily access to the technology itself, but access to the knowledge of how it works. Awareness seems concentrated among those who either work directly with AI systems or maybe those who read the professional stuff, the literature defining these tools. Similarly, high-income earners lead in awareness at 52%. They're likely either using advanced, maybe expensive AI tools professionally, or perhaps they're the ones investing in the companies building them.
Makes sense. And the generation gap. That's also relevant, especially with the new conversational tools, the LLMs.
It is. While older demographics, Gen X and baby boomers, make up about 68% of the non-users of these more advanced models. It's really important to remember they are still using AI every single day through virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant.
Right, the utilities.
Exactly. That's the key distinction. They're using AI as a utility, a smart speaker, a spam filter. But they maybe don't think of it as artificial intelligence, the thing we read about in the news.
Yeah, it's just become integrated convenience.
Yep.
Which I guess brings us neatly to where those hidden helpers are actually operating.
Exactly. If AI is literally in 77% of the devices we use, let's try and pull back the curtain, reveal how it's shaping our lives, often just working away in the background morning till night. Okay, so to kind of organize this invisible infrastructure, the sources tend to divide AI into two main buckets: software methodology versus embodied AI.
Okay. Software versus embodied.
Right. Software methodology uses, these don't need any extra physical devices. They're pure algorithms running on the hardware you already have. This includes your voice assistants, the machine learning used for financial fraud detection, those clever email spam filters, keeping your inbox clean. The intelligence is purely digital.
Gotcha. Software only. And the other kind.
And then you have embodied AI. This involves specific physical hardware, devices built around AI capabilities. Think of it as the physical manifestation of the intelligence.
Like robots.
Yeah, or drones, autonomous vehicles, and probably most commonly that huge ecosystem of Internet of Things, IoT devices in your home, things with sensors that need to take physical action. Hashtag 2.2, starting the day in communication.
Okay, let's trace this sort of typical AI-powered morning. Forget that old abrasive alarm clock buzz.
Right.
Smart alarms, like in apps such as Sleep Cycle, they use AI, don't they? Analyzing movement data from your phone's sensors.
Exactly. The accelerometers, the gyroscopes. It's figuring out your sleep cycle's deep versus light sleep. And then it determines the optimal, say, 15-minute window to wake you up during a light sleep phase.
For less grogginess.
Precisely. The result is a gentler wake-up optimized to make you feel less out of it. It's basically like having a personalized sleep concierge.
Huh. Okay. And then once you're awake, checking your phone.
While your personalized feeds are running on constantly evolving AI models, apps like Google News, they aren't just showing you the top headlines anymore. They curate content based on massive data input. Your reading habits, where you are, what you click on, what topics you share.
So my feed looks totally different from yours.
Totally. One person might get tech updates prioritized, another gets political analysis or sports scores. The AI optimizes the feed to keep you engaged.
Moving into the workday, email management. We rely on AI there hugely, often without realizing. Those spam filters.
Oh, yeah. They're advanced machine learning models, constantly analyzing email headers, content, sender behavior. looking for patterns that signal phishing or just junk. Something like 78.5% of us rely on this at work. And then there's that micro-convenience, smart reply.
Yeah, suggesting quick responses.
Right. It analyzes the context of the incoming email and suggests short, appropriate replies. Saves you those few seconds of thinking time.
And even just typing on our phones.
Even basic typing uses complex AI. Smart keyboards like SwiftKey, they use a specific machine learning model called the random forest algorithm.
Random forest. Sounds intriguing.
It's quite clever. Instead of just one prediction model, the system uses hundreds, maybe thousands of predictive models all at once, like a huge committee of predictors. And it takes a majority vote on what the next word should be. That's why the predictive text can feel freakishly accurate sometimes.
Okay.
It seamlessly corrects mistakes, switches languages, and often includes features like real-time translation too. Hashtag tag 2.3 travel, entertainment, and wellness.
Okay, so now we step outside the house or office. AI tackles the complexity of getting around. When you use navigation and travel apps like Google Maps,
Yeah.
the scale of AI processing is just phenomenal, isn't it?
It really is. These apps rely on things called convolutional neural networks, CNNs, and graph neural networks, GNNs.
Okay, fancy names. What do they do?
Well, these network types are crucial for processing spatial data like maps and network data like road connections. They process yottabytes.
Yottabytes. That sounds like a lot.
It's a massive, almost unthinkable amount of geographical information updated every single second. The GNN part is especially important. It doesn't just look at individual roads, it maps the relationships between every point in the network. That lets the app calculate real-time route optimization.
Factory and traffic, accidents.
Exactly. Accidents, construction, traffic flow. It even knows where available parking spots might be, and it adjusts your ETA minute by minute.
Incredible. And then when you finally get home and unwind, streaming recommendations are still AI-driven. Netflix, Spotify, Hulu.
Yep. They don't just categorize stuff. They use machine learning algorithms to parse every single interaction you have. Pauses, rewinds, what you search for, what you rate. This lets them create a customized catalog precisely suited to your, very specific tastes.
My niche documentary phase, yeah.
Exactly. And beyond just recommending stuff, AI also automates the unseen infrastructure. The system uses AI to dynamically allocate server resources, bandwidth, based on demand. That ensures your stream is smooth, uninterrupted. That instant loading when you hit play, that's often an AI decision about resource management happening behind the scenes.
Huh. We also use AI for subtle, powerful things like image recognition. Face ID is the obvious one.
Sure.
But think about Google Lens. Using optical character recognition, OCR.
Right, to translate foreign street signs in real time just through your camera. Or instantly scanning a business card and saving it as a contact. It connects the physical world to your digital records instantly.
Super useful. And maybe the most intimate area is personal health and wellness.
Definitely. Wearables like the Apple Watch rely heavily on AI, analyzing movement patterns via those accelerometers and gyroscopes. This powers crucial safety features like fall detection. A sudden, sort of non-standard movement profile triggers an alert. And more proactively, the AI monitors and can predict potential health risks, detecting subtle patterns in irregular heartbeats over time, for instance. It acts like a constant, non-invasive health monitor.
And wellness is even moving into, like, therapeutic engagement. The sources mentioned gamified therapy.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Specialized gaming applications using virtual reality, VR, combined with principles of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. The embedded AI in these programs is designed to constantly gauge a user's mental state, mood, response times, maybe even signs of stress.
And it adapts the game.
Exactly. The game's difficulty, the stimuli, it adapts in real time based on how the user is behaving. Customizing the intervention dynamically. The goal is to explore new ways to maybe mitigate conditions like depression and anxiety using personalized, highly engaging digital experiences.
Wow, that's quite a leap. Hashtag tag 2.4 AI in the home, IoT and convenience.
Finally, as the day winds down, AI continues managing the invisible infrastructure of the home through the Internet of Things, IoT. The functionality of a modern smart home. It really relies entirely on AI doing the analysis part of the loop.
Right. People talk about the IoT process.
Yeah.
Create data, sensors, communicate it, aggregate it, analyze it, and then act on it. The analyze and act parts are pure AI. Yeah.
Pretty much. Take AI-powered smart homes. managing lighting, security, climate control. Smart thermostats, for example, don't just read the current temperature, they learn your behavior. When you wake up, when you leave, what temperature you prefer when you're actually in a specific room.
And adjust proactively.
Exactly. To optimize your comfort while also minimizing energy waste, it's constantly learning and predicting.
Even household chores like grocery shopping are getting smarter.
Yeah, through apps and even smart fridges that can track inventory, maybe using visual recognition and analyze your usage patterns. By linking your past consumption data with meal planning algorithms, the system can suggest recipes, build shopping lists, flag items about to expire, aiming to significantly reduce household food waste.
That would be genuinely useful. And finally, planning for tomorrow. Weather prediction.
Yeah.
AI is huge there too.
Absolutely essential. AI models analyze these vast historical weather archives, plus torrents of real-time data, wind speed, humidity, pressure, cloud formations. This allows them to provide highly accurate, hyper-localized forecasts. Apps like Dark Sky famously use this AI to offer minute-by-minute predictions, adjusting instantly based on your precise location. They model complex, local weather events much better than older, broader forecasting methods could.
Right, so AI is basically optimizing everything from our sleep to our dinner plans to whether we need an umbrella. Hashtag tag 3. Professional and societal transformation?
It's pretty clear, isn't it? AI is seamlessly woven into our personal lives, our routines. But its most profound strategic impact that's really visible in the sectors it's currently revolutionizing. From the factory floor right up to the hospital operating theater. Hashtag tag 3.1 business operations and investment.
Okay, let's look at where businesses are actually deploying AI most frequently right now. The sources listed 5 dominant use cases. Unsurprisingly, maybe customer service leads at 56%. Mostly chatbots, automated routing, that kind of thing.
That's the bulk of it, yeah. Then followed closely by cybersecurity and fraud management at 51%. That speaks volumes about the need for real-time anomaly detection in today's threat landscape.
Makes sense.
Then you have digital personal assistants at 47%, customer relationship management, CRM tools at 46%, and finally inventory management at 40%.
So that list, it seems businesses are prioritizing 2 main things: frontline customer interaction and back-end risk management.
That seems right. And business owners clearly see the massive upside. Nearly 2/3 of them think AI will improve their customer relationships through better personalization, and a strong 60% believe it will dramatically increase internal productivity.
And the enthusiasm specifically for the newer generative tools, the LLMs like ChatGPT.
Oh, it's overwhelming. 97% of business owners surveyed think using platforms like ChatGPT will help their business.
97%. What do they expect it to do?
Mostly things like generating customer responses, 74% anticipate that, speeding up content generation, 70%, and creating more personalized customer experiences, 58%. They largely see LLMs as high-speed content machines and communication optimizers right now.
Okay. Yet full implementation isn't everywhere, right? There are still hurdles. The sources mentioned the most common reason for not fully implementing AI is cost and finance, cited by 51% of businesses.
Yeah, that's the biggest barrier.
It suggests that while the interest is definitely there, that initial investment, specialized hardware, maybe retraining staff, the integration itself, it remains prohibitively high for a lot of medium and smaller businesses.
Absolutely. And other big worries include becoming too dependent on the technology, that was 43%, and critically, lacking the technical skills needed internally to actually use the AI effectively. That was cited by 35%.
That skills gap, that reinforces what we talked about earlier. The jobs being created by AI aren't necessarily easy to fill with the current workforce, are they?
Not immediately, no. It requires significant upskilling and retraining. Hashtag tag 3.2 healthcare and finance. Okay, shifting to sectors where precision and high stakes are paramount. AI is truly transformative here. In healthcare diagnostics, for example, AI algorithms are trained on enormous data sets, millions of patient records, medical images like X-rays, MRIs, biopsy slides.
They analyze these images
with accuracy that often matches or sometimes even exceeds human capability. This significantly helps in the early diagnosis of serious conditions like many types of cancer. That speed can be genuinely life-saving.
And it even extends into the operating room itself?
Yeah.
Robo-assisted surgery?
Yes. AI is used here to perform complex procedures with incredible precision and stability, often far beyond what the human hand can consistently achieve on its own. One source actually highlighted a finding from Johns Hopkins showing a robot successfully outperforming human surgeons in certain complex soft tissue procedures.
Wow. Okay.
And the potential societal impact in healthcare is also really relevant here. 51% of people polled thought that AI, if trained properly on unbiased data, could actually reduce instances of racial and ethnic bias in healthcare.
How so?
Well, the theory is that standardized, data-driven diagnostic tools, free from maybe subconscious human biases or heuristics, could lead to more equitable patient treatment protocols over time.
Interesting potential. And in the world of finance and security.
AI is democratizing sophisticated money management there. On the consumer side, you have robo-advisors.
Right, the automated investment platforms.
Exactly. Digital platforms using algorithms to offer tailored, often low-cost investment recommendations based on your individual goals, your age, your risk tolerance. This brings portfolio management, previously maybe reserved for the wealthy, to a much broader audience.
And for the big institutions, security.
For institutional security, deep learning algorithms are just essential now for fraud detection. These systems don't just check for known types of fraud. They proactively analyze millions of transaction patterns in real time, identifying complex, subtle anomalies that might indicate new emerging threats. They learn and adapt constantly, creating this resilient layer of security for online finance. Hashtag 3.3 education and the future workforce.
The education sector seems to be really grappling with how to integrate AI effectively. On one hand, you have AI platforms acting as interactive virtual tutors delivering personalized learning.
Right, constantly adjusting the curriculum, the difficulty, based on how a student is actually performing, their strengths, their weaknesses.
And it also helps with inclusivity, doesn't it? Through sophisticated text-to-speech, transcription for students with reading difficulties or other learning disabilities.
Definitely aids accessibility, yet there's this massive friction, isn't there, between the technology's potential and the system's current readiness. Only 10% of educators think teaching AI literacy should be a top priority right now, which seems low.
Yes, surprisingly low.
And even more alarming, maybe 87% report receiving no specific AI training in their professional development.
87%. So we're asking teachers to guide students through a technological revolution that they themselves haven't really been trained for.
That's the situation. Meanwhile, 80% of parents have concerns about potential harmful effects, mainly focused on privacy and data handling, but also the critical issue of accuracy and reliability of AI-generated content. Can we trust it?
Understandable concerns.
Yeah.
And that training gap you mentioned, that feels like the chasm between the present workforce and the future one. When we look at the most in-demand AI jobs, based on 2023 postings, the massive shift towards data infrastructure is just undeniable.
Completely. Data engineer led the pack with nearly 1,900 postings, followed closely by data scientist and data analyst. And the more technical application role, machine learning engineer, also saw really strong demand.
So these are the highly technical, often high-paying jobs being created. And the education system is basically struggling to produce talent quickly enough to meet the demand generated by that net gain of 12 million jobs we talked about earlier.
It's a pipeline issue, absolutely. Okay, so the current state is dynamic, definitely impressive in many ways, but AI is still far from, fully mature. We need to shift focus now, maybe look ahead 5 to 10 years, and examine the major strategic and technical shifts that researchers are predicting will redefine this whole ecosystem. Hashtag 4.1, the evolution of AI models, 2025-2034.
Right, the first major technical shift seems to be a move away from these giant monolithic systems towards something more focused, a necessary shift to efficiency, perhaps.
Precisely. The dominant trend has been reliance on massive, often closed models like the original GPT series. They're expensive, incredibly power-hungry, and they live mainly in huge data centers. The future, though, looks like it's trending towards smaller, highly efficient, and often open-source models.
All are in open source.
Yeah. For instance, the emergence of models like, say, an 11 billion parameter mini version of GPT-4o. This is critical because it drastically reduces the computational cost and that efficiency. It enables embedding powerful AI directly into everyday consumer devices, smartphones, laptops, accelerating that stealth integration even further.
That decentralization, it sounds like it could fundamentally challenge the dominance of the few big tech players who currently control those largest closed models.
It absolutely could, and it promotes innovation from more players. Furthermore, looking out towards, say, 2034, the sources suggest that unimodal AI,
meaning systems that only handle one type of data, like just text.
exactly, That's expected to be replaced by multimodal AI as the standard. This tech integrates text, voice, visual input, maybe even facial expressions, vocal inflections, all into a single cohesive system.
So it understands more like humans do.
Getting closer, yeah. This will power really advanced virtual assistants. Imagine one capable of processing a complex voice query, analyzing the visual context from your camera, and then generating a bespoke video tutorial or a new visual design in response, mimicking human-level synthesis of information.
Okay, that's a big step up. And perhaps the most impactful development for business autonomy and maybe even personal management is the rise of agentic AI. This sounds far beyond the simple LLMs we mostly use today.
It really is. Agentic AI represents a key future trend. Think of systems composed of multiple, specialized, autonomous agents. They don't just execute commands you give them, they proactively anticipate needs and can execute complex, multi-step decisions on their own.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, imagine delegating an entire complex task, like booking a multi-stop vacation. One specialized agent could handle finding the best flight deals and monitoring prices. Another optimizes the budget across different hotel options based on your preferences. A third handles travel logistics, maybe insurance, all interacting autonomously with outside systems, making micro decisions without you needing to supervise every single step.
Huh. It's like hiring a digital project manager who then hires and coordinates all the necessary subcontractors automatically.
That's a great analogy. This approach, this sort of division of digital labor, it also helps mitigate some known weaknesses of the current monolithic LLMs, which can sometimes struggle with complex, multi-stage reasoning or deep domain-specific knowledge. Hashtag tag 4.2, cutting-edge computing, and data. Now, to support this multimodal and agentic future, we're going to need some dramatic shifts in computing power, too. Quantum AI is the big moonshot here.
Quantum still feels a bit sci-fi.
It does, but the potential is immense. It could potentially shatter current computational limitations, solve problems that are just computationally impossible for classical binary computers within any meaningful time frame. This could transform fields like material science, drug discovery, by accurately modeling complex protein folding, or even climate science, modeling scenarios we just can't simulate today.
Oh. And we're also seeing innovation at the very base level of computation. BitNet models.
Right. These are emerging systems using ternary parameters of base 3 system instead of the standard binary base 2 we use now.
Why base 3?
The design goal is much more efficient information processing with significantly less power consumption. This directly tackles that massive environmental footprint currently associated with training and running these huge AI models, the push for sustainability.
Right, the energy cost is huge. But while the hardware might advance, there's a major constraint looming on the horizon: data.
Yes. A huge one. Researchers are predicting a severe data scarcity problem. They estimate that by 2026, maybe even sooner, the supply of high-quality, public, human-generated data, the stuff needed to train these large AI models, might simply run out.
Run out. How?
Well, we've scraped most of the easily accessible internet, plus it's compounded by the fact that AI itself is now generating a huge percentage of online content, maybe 50% or more by some estimates. This pollutes the training data, making it harder to find reliable human examples.
So what's the solution if we run out of training data?
It necessitates a massive pivot. The two main solutions being explored are, first, relying much more heavily on synthetic data.
Artificially created data.
Exactly. Artificially generated data sets designed to mimic real-world patterns and complexity. This might become the new standard for model training. And second, a much greater focus on customized models trained only on proprietary internal organizational data, ensuring they're uniquely aligned with the company's specific knowledge and context, rather than generic web data. Hashtag tag 4.3, trust, regulation, and societal impacts. Okay, so as AI's power and its deep integration grow, so does the global demand for oversight and control. There's overwhelming cross-generational support for AI regulation now.
Really? Across all generations?
Yeah, the numbers are striking. 85% of respondents support a national coordinated effort to ensure AI is safe and secure. And that same number, 85%, demand transparency about how AI products are tested and assured before they come to market.
That's a huge consensus. It feels like a global expansion of the push for clear frameworks like the EU AI Act we've seen.
It does, and the technology itself poses these serious tangible risks that are clearly driving this regulatory demand. The problem of AI models delivering confident-sounding but completely wrong answers.
Right, hallucinations.
Exactly. That's a major risk, especially in high-stakes fields like medicine or legal services, where a wrong answer could have severe consequences. The sources even suggest the financial world is anticipating this risk, maybe moving towards offering specific AI hallucination insurance to protect companies against the financial and reputational fallout from these critical errors.
Insurance against AI mistakes. Wow.
And of course, the issue of information integrity is under constant attack. Generative AI makes it easier than ever to create hyper-realistic deep fakes, fake audio, fake video, fake images.
Undermining trust in media elections.
Exactly, challenging media trust and information integrity globally. This requires a two-pronged approach. Better technological countermeasures like advanced detection tools, but also clear legal accountability frameworks for creating and spreading malicious deepfakes.
And finally, we have to acknowledge the profound emotional element of interacting with AI.
Yes, this is crucial. Due to something called the ELIZA effect, people instinctively anthropomorphize AI. We project human qualities onto it, sometimes forming genuine emotional attachments, especially to highly responsive virtual companions or chatbots.
Right. Treating it like a person.
Yeah. And as AI agents become multimodal, more sophisticated, increasingly human-like in their communication and responsiveness, society faces this growing ethical challenge. How do we promote healthy interactions? How do we help individuals, especially younger people, discern genuine human connection from interaction with these incredibly sophisticated engineered machines? This emotional entanglement is a really complex ethical landscape that we're only just beginning to navigate. It'll likely define much of the discussion around AI in the 2030s. #TagOutTrekChub. So wrapping up this deep dive, it really shows that AI isn't just another tech trend, is it? It's becoming the fundamental backbone of progress here in 2025.
Yeah.
It promises these immense global benefits, that $15.7 trillion economic boost, the net gain of 12 million jobs eventually, potential breakthroughs in climate modeling, enhanced cybersecurity, the list goes on. But the core insight, I think, is the shift itself. Moving away from those giant centralized LLMs towards more efficient, decentralized, multimodal, and ultimately agentic systems that act more autonomously. And this whole journey of transformation, it really has to be guided by collective responsibility, ensuring that ethical practices, transparency, human-centric values, they remain absolutely paramount, especially as we grapple with things like data scarcity and the growing emotional impact of AI companions.
Absolutely. So here's the final thought we want to leave you, the listener, with today. The way we use AI is maturing incredibly quickly. Just last year, maybe, usage was heavily focused on simpler tasks. Text editing, drafting emails, basic brainstorming. But already in 2025, we're seeing this surge in usage for really complex personal support. People are using AI to organize their entire lives, explore career changes, get tailored health advice, find fitness plans, even, in some cases, seeking companionship. So given that imminent shift we discussed towards agentic AI, those systems composed of specialized partners that can proactively anticipate your needs and autonomously make complex decisions for you. Here's the question. What is the single most complex recurring task in your life right now that you would confidently delegate fully to a specialized non-human digital partner today? Something to think about.
A provocative question indeed.
That's what we'll be mulling over as we sign off. Until next time on The Deep Dive.